Imagine a normal morning. You feel slightly under the weather, a common cold, or a headache from stress at work. You go to the nearest pharmacy, trusting the brands you've known since childhood. You buy a box of your usual painkiller, come home, and take one capsule, expecting relief. But instead of taking away the pain, this small gesture becomes the last in your life. A few minutes later, your breathing stops, your heart starts failing, and you find yourself on the verge of death. Autumn of 1982. A quiet, prosperous suburb of Chicago. A place where people didn't even lock their doors, suddenly turns into the epicenter of a chilling detective story. This is the story of the Chicago Tylenol murders. A person who turned a routine purchase into a game of Russian roulette. This case not only took lives, but it also changed global commerce forever and brought a giant corporation to its knees. And the scariest part is that this case is still officially unsolved. It all started on the cloudy morning of September 29th. 12-year-old Mary Kellerman woke up with a stuffy nose and a cough, a regular childhood cold. Her parents, wanting to help their daughter, gave her a capsule of extra-strength Tylenol. A few hours later, Mary was gone. The doctors initially suspected a stroke, which was incredibly rare for her age. But this was only the beginning. On that same day, tragedy struck the Janis family home. 27-year-old Adam Janis felt a sharp pain in his chest and took the same pills. He died of a sudden heart attack. When his relatives, his brother Stanley and his wife Teresa, gathered at his home to mourn his passing, they too developed headaches from the stress. They found the same bottle of Tylenol in Adam's kitchen. Within a few hours, both were dead as well. In a single day, 7 people died. 7 completely different people connected only by one detail found in their trash cans: an empty box of the most popular medication in America. When experts performed the autopsies, they were frozen in horror. A concentration of potassium cyanide, hundreds of times the lethal dose, was found in the victim's blood. Death came almost instantly. The poison blocked the body's cells from using oxygen. The victims literally suffocated while having lungs full of air. Investigators began to check the batches of the product, thinking it was a production error. But the truth turned out to be far more frightening. The poisoned bottles came from different batches produced at different factories. This meant one thing: someone was deliberately going into supermarkets and pharmacies in Chicago, taking packages off the shelves, bringing them home, or doing it right in the store, replacing the powder inside the capsules with deadly cyanide, and carefully putting them back. In 1982, there was no tamper-evident packaging. Anyone could open a bottle, do anything they wanted, and close it so that it looked completely new. The killer was playing God, choosing random victims who just wanted to get rid of a headache. The investigation of this case became one of the largest in FBI history, codenamed Tylenol Scare. More than 100 investigative teams were formed, and Johnson & Johnson, along with the government, offered a reward of $100,000 for any information leading to an arrest. The company and the police received over 1,700 calls from all over the world. Detectives vetted thousands of leads and suspects, but the sheer volume of tips made it difficult to separate valuable information from dead ends. The city was gripped by paranoia. Chicago police patrolled the streets, shouting through megaphones, "Do not take Tylenol! Throw it away!" Hospitals were overflowing with people who felt that they had been poisoned. For Johnson & Johnson, this was a death sentence. Their main product, which held 35% of the painkiller market, became a synonym for death. Shares plummeted, and experts advised shutting the brands down forever. But the company's management made a move that entered all PR textbooks. They did not try to hide the problem. They recalled 31 million packages nationwide, organized free hotlines, and offered to exchange the capsules for safe tablets. It was this tragedy that forced the industry to change. Have you ever wondered why every bottle of vitamins or juice has safety foil, a plastic ring, or a membrane? All of this is a direct result of the Chicago murders. The world realized goods on a shelf are no longer safe by default. The nightmare of 1982 triggered a dangerous chain reaction. In the following years, dozens of copycats appeared in the U.S. The most famous case occurred in 1986, when Stella Nickel from Washington State poisoned pills of a different brand to cover up the murder of her husband. She tried to pass it off as a repeat of the Tylenol case. After this incident, the U.S. Congress passed the so-called Tylenol bill, which made the tampering of consumer products a federal crime. To make medicine even safer, the company eventually replaced capsules with caplets, solid tablets that are nearly impossible to tamper with secretly. Who did it? James Lewis became the main suspect. He sent a letter to the company demanding $1 million to stop the killings. He was caught and served 13 years for extortion. But investigators were never able to prove that he was the one who put the capsules on the shelves. He knew the details of the case, but claimed he was just trying to profit from a tragedy. Another theory pointed to Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber. He grew up in Chicago, hated corporations and modern society, and his methods were always secretive and violent. However, no direct evidence was found against him, and he denied his involvement in the poisonings until the end of his life. Detectives vetted thousands of people, store employees, disgruntled former pharmacy workers, and unhinged fanatics. But the killer left no fingerprints or witnesses. He simply dissolved into the crowd of the metropolis. More than 40 years have passed. We are used to safety seals and complex packaging, taking them for granted. But every time we struggle to open a new bottle of medication, it is worth remembering. This safety measure was written in the blood of 7 innocent people from Chicago. The perpetrator who committed this crime is likely old or no longer alive. He proved how easily one person can destroy many lives and change the habits of billions. And what do you think? Was it a well-thought-out plan by Lewis, or is the real killer still living among us, keeping their terrifying secret? Perhaps the answer is hidden in the archives, which will one day speak. Write your theories in the comments. Leave a like if this story made you look at ordinary things differently. And subscribe. We still have many dark pages of history ahead of us that demand a solution. See you in the next video.